Okay.
All right. Well, good morning, everyone. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us this morning for this wonderful one more opportunity and virtual coaching and networking event. We have a very special guest here today, our board chair from the Charles County Chamber and owner of eTrepid, Mr. Tom Blandford, who will be sharing some insights and inspirational thoughts with us, and just also giving us some good coaching tips to help us grow and continue being successful in our business. I would like for you, you're more than welcome to have a pen and paper in hand. I would advise for you to have a pen and paper in hand. Take some copious notes on what you hear today, because you're going to hear some wonderful information in this conversation today. I also like to give a special thanks to Miss Bonnie over at the Charles County Chamber and the Chamber of Commerce as a whole for partnering with me on this event. This is our very first event in doing this, and we are looking forward to this being very successful down through the months and years to come, to identify small business community owners in our own community and spotlight them and give them a chance to share in ways they might not get opportunities to share in other networking events about their business and helping others out at the same time. So at this time, I would like for Miss Bonnie, if she has anything she'd like to add and share real quick in this introduction.
Well, Christian, on behalf of the Chamber Board, I'd like to say thank you for agreeing to do this with us. We had a whole different event that we started last month, and everything got flipped on its head, and now here we are with something brand new. So thank you for being so flexible and being willing to continue on this journey that we started a few weeks ago, but in a totally different way. Actually, just as a little bit of background, we had a syndicated program that we were going to run, and Christian was going to host it, and it got canceled right after the first one we did. So we talked a little bit, and I said, well, Christian, why don't you just run that program? You do the interviews. Let's interview local people instead of national people. And so here we are, our very first one. We're excited that you're part of it. I'm kind of keeping an eye here on the waiting room to see if others join us. We had several people signed up for this first session, but we'll welcome them as they come in, or we'll catch them up after Christian and Tom do their interview. But you're in for a treat today. The program is going to be an exciting one, and it can be as interactive as our host and guest want to make it. And so I encourage you to, as Christian said, take lots of notes. When I said it on one of these before, the national one, the one and only national one that we got to do, I had a whole page of notes by the time it was finished. It just can really be a good sharing time, and we want it to be valuable to you. So I encourage you to do that, as Christian said. So thank you, Christian, for being willing to do this, for allowing us to partner with you and bringing this to the community and helping us introduce some of our local business leaders like Tom, and giving people a chance to hear their stories and share some of their own. Good morning, Miss Georgianne. We are welcoming you to the meeting. We're just getting started. I'm going to turn this back over to Christian, who'll tell you just a little bit about himself, and then we'll do some quick introductions.
Well, for those that do not know me or know me, let me just introduce and reintroduce myself. My name is Christian Downs. My wife and I are co-owners of Divinity Business and Marketing Solutions. We're independent associates of a company called Legal Shield that's out of Ada, Oklahoma. And we've been partnering with small businesses throughout the community and across the nation to help them grow and be an impact to their business and to their employees with our Legal Shield and our ID Shield products. But look, that's basically how we got started back in April of 2013, and we've been running hard ever since. And now we have some goals that we're out to meet. And I decided to partner with the Chamber because I knew that's where the majority of the small businesses were a part of. And that's where I can make the greatest impact, not only helping them, but gaining insight to help grow my business as well. And I come across a lot of good Chamber members that have gave me some insight on what I need to do, what I shouldn't do as well. And I believe that we can all learn from one another and grow with one another. So that's who I am and how I got started. I'd like to turn this over to Tom real quick if you just have a couple of welcoming comments. And then after that, I would like for Ashley and Georgianne, we go with Ashley first to tell us just who you are, what company you're with, and if you're a chamber member or not, and the same with Miss Georgianne East.
Well, good morning, and Christian, thank you, and thank you, Bonnie, for thinking of me and having me, and welcome Ashley and Georgianne to one more opportunity.
All right. Christian, would you like me to lead the introduction?
Ashley?
Would you like? There you go.
Yeah, Ashley, just tell us, of course, we have your name now, your name, the company you're with, and if you're a chamber member or not.
My name's Ashley Coley, of course. I'm a real estate agent with Century 21 and Vision Realty. I've been an agent for about 5 or 6 years now, and I am not a chamber member, not yet.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that introduction. Miss Georgianne? We can't hear you.
There we go. Is that a little better? Okay, great.
Yes.
I am actually an owner of a financial planning firm. My husband and I also co-run a business in Charles County that has been around for over 50 years. I've been doing what I do for 25, but that's Dudley C. Aist and Associates. We kind of are out there as Aist and Associates. So we do employee benefits, and we offer a wide range of products, including the legal and identity, small business, CDL coverage. It's been really an amazing thing to be able to work. Aist and Associates is a chamber member. Aist Wealth Planning is not. So technically my business isn't, but as a couple, we are part of the chamber ourselves. So we just look to impact the community and make the best effort every day.
Well, thank you for that, Georgianne. And just so that some of you all know, the last part she had mentioned in there, Miss Georgianne and her husband is one of my business partners also, and we that I work with. Yes, so we met close to, I think, about over a year ago, and we not only formed a business relationship, we also formed a wonderful friendship as well. So I thank her for joining with us today as well. We're going to move right along here, and we're going to get into this conversation with Mr. Tom Blandford, the guest speaker, the man that's being spotlighted today, him and his company. And Tom, I'd just like to begin with here. You know, I know you've been reading some of your background on my own, and knowing that you're a veteran and you've always been a part of the community, being in the military and being a veteran. But I just give everybody a little background of who you are and where you're from and what made you decide to go into business, and how if you started other businesses, how did they go, and how did eTrepid also come about?
Well, all right. So we have a few genealogists in the family, I guess they'd be called, and they have come to the conclusion that our family arrived in Southern Maryland in 1708. So a lot of history in the area. I grew up in Southern Maryland, Southern PG County. Went to local high schools, and then joined the Navy. eTrepid is my 5th business. I started a software company in the early 90s. I homemade computers in the mid 90s. Launched an internet service based in Charles County. Grew and sold that in 2001. Then I did some consulting, which turned into the launching and the founding of eTrepid in 2010. The name eTrepid, I wanted something unique. What I had learned about computing was people, they didn't really understand them. They weren't getting the most out of them. They were fearful of losing them, losing control as computing and technology became more and more driven within business. So in coming up with the name, it really ties to my history. The name is derived from my naval service. It's Latin. The word trepid means to fear. And when I was in ninth grade, we learned Latin, and one of the funnest exercises I ever did was to create words, to put together words in Latin. And the Latin root E means without. So when you combine the Latin root E with the word trepid, the name means without fear, and it's unique. We registered it and got a trademark on it, so no one else can have that name anywhere. I got my godfather, who also served aboard the USS Intrepid. So that's kind of where the name started from. I started to look at naval ships and battles and history from naval, just the U.S. Navy's history, and came to that. The colors are the United States Navy colors. So that's where all of that came from, is, the idea that we could alleviate those uncertainties that come with IT. Take those off your plate so that when you come to work and you've got to get that payroll out, you've got to create that spreadsheet, you've got to do this thing, that you'll be able to do it without fear of ransomware, the computer not turning on, the internet being down, or whatever unknown and uncertainties there are. So, we're your IT department, your IT gurus, and that's what we do. And that's how we came to be.
Well, that's the I'm gonna come back to your IT real quick, but there's something that you said, and you're talking about your background, and you said you've been here since 1708, according to the genealogists in your family, and then you went to a couple of high schools. So you've always, been, your family and yourself always been, you could say, embedded in the community, I guess I could say. So you have always known the importance of the community, the community just as a whole here in Southern Maryland, from personal to business. So how has that played a role in how you gotten started, gotten involved in business in the community and into the chamber?
Well, I learned early on when I launched my internet service in Charles County that as one of the chamber members, I was at a chamber event, a real estate guru in the county, Harry Shasho. He said to me at a business networking event that, and I don't know that I had joined at the time, I might have been a new fresh member or something, but he said, if you want to meet the movers and the shakers in the community, they're chamber members. Mm-hmm. And if you want to grow your business, you need to know the movers and the shakers in the community, because they're the ones that are going to expand your network. And that proved to be very true, very true. After joining the chamber, I joined the chamber as soon as I launched eTrepid. One of the very first moves I made, I received a letter from another chamber member welcoming me to the chamber and offering their services, which I stuffed in every other year. About 1,000 Southern Maryland residents who cannot afford dental care can get free dental work. They do about $1 million worth of dental work over a weekend, and we've been supporting that effort for the past 10 years. We also got introduced to some folks to work with the Marine Corps. We've worked with veterans organizations to help with PTSD. So it's really been, we've met some amazing people who have been through so much, and they're able to persevere, and it really helps you in your ability to learn from their challenges to overcome your own, which are, in my experience, nothing compared to what some of the folks that we've seen through this community involvement have had to endure.
So Tom, so it would be fair to say then, I hear what you're saying there, that the advice that was given to you was that one of the best ways to grow your business in the community and is not only getting with the chamber, but that you learned through joining the chamber and being involved in the community, that old advice of people do business with those that they know, like, and trust, and the chamber gives you a great chance to be able for people to see you, get to know you, and trust you more, and hopefully like you, that they're more inclined to do business with you. Could I take that? Is that correct, or is that how you seen it? Or
yeah, that's exactly right. And the chamber, Charles County Chamber is the largest chamber in Southern Maryland. And you think about it, you say, well, right now we represent over 500 member businesses, but more than that, the chamber is representing 1 in 5 members of the Charles County workforce. 22,000 citizens of Charles County are working for businesses that are chamber members, and the chamber is representing every single employee of every business that's a member. And actually, the chamber represents every business and every employee through the activities that are funded through chamber membership and the events and activities. So if you're wondering, what does the chamber do for me? Well, the legislative committee this year alone reviewed 1,800 pieces of legislation. Every single piece of legislation that was going to go to the Maryland General Assembly was reviewed by our legislative committee. Every single one. They culled through them to find those that affect business in the community. Road work, zoning, changes in law, whatever that would impact a business positively or negatively, and took a position. Of the 9 that the legislative committee took a position on, 8 went the way of the chamber's position. So the chamber definitely has an impact on the ability for every business in Charles County to grow, and that helps the workforce grow and helps salaries grow. And over the years, Charles County's workforce, the average business, has grown in size, and salaries have grown over the years, even through some of the hardest times. So the chamber is very important in helping business grow.
I appreciate that, Tom. I appreciate your insight on that. And I would just like to add, for those that are listening, that if you're not a chamber member, if you are a chamber member and you're not as involved as I would definitely say, heed Tom's advice on that, because I myself, started getting more involved, and that's how I came across Danny Michael, the former chair of the chamber, told me, he said, hey, you need to talk to Bonnie. And me and Bonnie talked, and then we next thing I know, we began growing a professional friendship here and a partnership, and things are moving. And now we got to this point of this where we're hosting this kind of event here with the chamber. So definitely, what Tom is saying is definitely, a plus. You need to get involved in the community and in the chamber, and good things will begin to start happening because people will get to know you. A lot of people aren't doing business with people because they just don't know them. And I have learned that even down through the years. But Tom, now I want to get to where you talked about some of the IT services that you have offered at some of these events and helping out with different missions and nonprofits, and also you're speaking of the importance of cybersecurity and computing today as well. Can you just share with us some of your services and the importance of the cybersecurity, and even in the times we're in today, dealing with the COVID-19 and this pandemic, and more people are allowing more companies allowing their people to telework from home. Can you just give us a little more into that, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So we provide outsourced IT services. We've always been, or I've always been, following the National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST, for about 25 years. Since I've been in computing, we've been implementing secure solutions. And in doing that, as PCI compliance came out, as HIPAA compliance came out, we were really prepared for that. We were ready. We were ready for that. And now, we are certified HIPAA compliant. We are, there isn't a certification for NIST, but we are certified NIST cybersecurity framework compliant through an industry organization. We've been vetted by the Maryland Department of Commerce. So if you purchase your cybersecurity services and products from eTrepid, you can write off. You get a tax credit. Sorry, not a write-off, but you actually get a tax credit for up to 50% of that investment. We're the only ones in Southern Maryland that offer that. We also have some programs to provide some grant funding, and one of the things we try to do is really, really help offset the cost. So when you go back to eTrepid, and some of the fears and uncertainties is, what's this thing going to cost? Cybersecurity is expensive, but it's more expensive to not be secure. We've represented some companies that we were hired because they were battling their insurance company in court over being hacked by ransomware, and the insurance company didn't want to pay. So it's much more expensive to not be secure. So if you're practicing good personal hygiene, right now we're in this pandemic mode, and we're wearing face masks, and we're washing our hands for 20 seconds, and we're social distancing. Well, you have to do the same thing with your IT environment. You have to make sure that all your communications are scrubbed and cleaned. You have to make sure that you're keeping your distance from the dark web and keeping your credentials off of that. There's just so much you have to do. And then your last line of defense is your insurance. It really is your last line of defense. The thing that's your business is probably the biggest investment that an entrepreneur will make. Aside from maybe a mortgage, a lot of times it becomes bigger than that. So you really, really need to protect it. And the last line of defense is, if you get hacked, if you get breached, if you get ransomware, making sure that you have good cyber liability, cyber crime insurance. You should have that reviewed annually to make sure that the protections in place are the best protections. That the cybersecurity and liability and crime insurance, if you haven't heard about it, cyber crime insurance protects you from cybercrime, whether it's an employee or a breach or things like that, because there's things that just aren't covered. There are some really bad policies out there. There are policies out there that if you add this one, then it negates that one or limits the other one. So you really have to be very careful about. It's the number one way to protect your business, and you really have to take it seriously.
Good question, Tom. Now, spinning off real fast of what you said before we move on. Now, I heard you saying, the IT, you're comparing it to the hygiene of the pandemic. Now, is this only something for small business will have to be concerned themselves with? Or what about even individuals like myself that are within a company, but they're independent associates of a company, but they're running a business within that company? Or even like Miss Ashley here, who's a real estate agent, and others like us. Is IT just important to us as well, or is it only for cybersecurity and IT only important for businesses as a whole?
It's for everybody. You're working for a business, and what you do personally as well as professionally. I go into businesses all the time, and very often I'm able to, very simple thing, right? You're on social media, you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, All of those things provide insights into who you are, who your family is, who your network of friends are, who you work with. And that information can be gathered through bots, right? It's just culling what's out there. The dark web is the largest enterprise in the world, generates more money than practically every business out there combined, and it has no leadership, but it has every single expertise that you can imagine. They have the best, highly skilled and educated software developers. They have the best marketing people. They have the best social engineers, people who are able to get you to click on things, get you to download things, being able to break into things. So, I will look at a person, I can quickly scan through their social media and identify the banks that they're banking with, able to find the mother's maiden name. Even though you don't put your birthday out there, somebody said, "Happy birthday, Christian," on your birthday, and they mentioned your age. Happy 55 or 25 or 35, right? So it's very easy to figure out how old you are. Very easy to get your mother's maiden name, possibly get your high school, your elementary school. Any of these things sound familiar. Your favorite book, a lot of people are members of book clubs and things like that. And they put all that out there on social media. So it's very easy to get all that together and then convince somebody to give up some more information before maybe they're not hacking you, but they're leveraging you to hack your business or someone else's business.
Well, Tom, thank you for that. I'll definitely keep that in mind, even for myself and my wife, and to pass on to others, because dealing with my business, we've heard of the dark web, and we do deal with the dark web ourselves. But I want to get to something. I know we're up against the clock here, and I want to get to something. I guess some people would say it might be a little more exciting or fun. I don't know how they feel about the conversation so far, but I just want to get into you just giving us advice on what is your on marketing strategy, sales initiatives. Even things like your favorite books, things that help you grow and can help other people grow their business or continue to be successful, or even if they're thinking about adding another business to what they're already doing, how to go about it. And so if you can just share that with us, I know we had a conversation even about your favorite book, one of your favorite books the other day, so you can share that with us and get more in depth in that with us, please. I think people would love to hear that.
All right, happy to do so. Well, as a young manager, mid-level manager, probably in my early to mid-20s, my general manager decided that the staff was going to read a book for the next 8 weeks. And that book was The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Steve Covey. And I was not a reader, and the last thing I wanted to do was read a book. But that book changed my life. I mean, when I came out of that, as I read it and got more into it, it was really life-changing. It really lists out how to take whatever you're going to do and identify how it applies to each of the habits. And if you're planning, if you're doing anything, and you say, I can relate this to each habit, you will probably be successful with that. You'll probably be successful with whatever that is that you're going to go into. My favorite habit is begin with the end in mind. And with that, that's, and sharpen the saw and synergy and win-win, all of the different habits that are in there, but have a plan. Your business is likely your retirement. And just as you plan for your retirement, you need to plan your exit strategy for your business or where you're going to move next. So if you don't own a business, but you're working somewhere, my son said to me, don't dress for the job you have, dress for the job you want, right? So that's how you need to plan and prepare. I recommend 5-year chunks. I like to break things down into the small chunks. So go about 5 years out, say, where do I want to be in 5 years? And then that's the end. where you want to arrive, and then go back and say, okay, now what's my roadmap to get there? And plan that out, and review your performance against your plan on a regular basis. You've really got to look at that. I'm sure you look at your bank to see how much money's in the bank. Well, that is your plan is really going to drive how much money's in the bank. So, check that plan regularly. That would be my advice.
Well, Tom, I definitely love that. And just for some of you all, I have that book myself. I'm on reading it I'm starting to read it for my 4th time. I love the book. I'm telling you right now, I love it. We even have it. We have a program on my job where I work at WMATA, where part of our professional development program is 7 habits of highly effective people. And my favorite habit is putting the first things first. And like Tom was hitting on your end, coming with the end in mind, and creating that 5-year plan, and then going back. But as you go back, what things are going to get you there? Everybody, I talk to people all the time. They go, "I'm busy today. I got goals. I'm doing this and that." But at the end of the day, you go back and talk to them, they're like, "I didn't get much done." Well, the question is why? And one of the things that Stephen Covey points out in this book that Tom so eloquently put it, as he was expressing his favorite parts of the book, was, putting the first things first. What is important? What is important today? What is important to you? And Tom, I definitely like your insight on that. And at this point, I think that'd be a good segue to get into some questions and answers. First, I'd like to go to Ashley. I see she's over there intently. Hopefully, she was intently taking notes on what I was seeing. So, Ashley, first, what today have you heard that you enjoyed hearing, and what did you get out of this? And if you have any questions for Tom, please ask them as well.
So I'm an avid book reader as well. So I try to read a book, 2 books a month, I would say, 1 book every 2 weeks. So I'll definitely be picking up this book. I've actually heard of it before. I've never read it. But what you said about starting with your end game and then creating a plan to reach that goal, I think I could be better at doing that. I know what I want to do, but as far as like writing it down and executing that plan, I just have things in my mind and I just go. But I think it would be better if I wrote it down, and kind of, like you said, review your performance based on what you wanted to do. I think that would be a better thing, and it'll make me more effective. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. And I will tell you that there are members of the chamber that that's what they do, is they help you plan that out. So you don't have to feel like you're alone in doing it. Reach out to Bonnie. Bonnie can, give you some names of local businesses that help you plan. Even if you want to start a business, we're connected with the Small Business Development Center. They'll help you write a business plan, help you develop a pitch. And we have other chamber members that help with personal financial planning and personal retirement planning and life planning. The chamber is a directory of people who can help you with whatever it is you need help with.
Well, thank you for that, Tom. Ashley, is there anything else you'd like to add? Or Georgianne, you can jump in as well. Is there anything you'd like to add or ask? Or what did you get out of what you heard today as well? Anything you want to ask Tom, more than free to.
One of the things that I noticed right off is no matter what language you're speaking, if you're speaking computerese, if you're speaking financialese, if you're speaking insuranceese, if you're speaking whatever, being able to convey the feelings, how you get from point A to point B to point C so that the person can calm down about whatever's on their mind is critical to having your business have a clear voice. So when Tom could explain, eTrepid and why and how that came about, it gives you a heart connection as well as a head connection. And people don't buy on what they know, they buy on how they feel. So stories like that, making sure that you use your stories to connect with people is just critical. And I love the way that he built that whole picture around why he's in business and what he does for you. And where's the fear point, and here's what I'm going to take away. Take it off your plate, make it easier, walk beside you as you take it step by step. Because I know in financial planning, people want to retire, just like he said, but they're like, I don't know if I have enough, I'm not sure. And planning it out exactly is just what you need to do to make these things happen in your life. So I love it. I love how it was laid out. I love the way that, you know, it led very clearly to the message that he wants for the people that he does business with. It's really fantastic. That's why we use him.
Well, thank you, Georgianne.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add to what she was saying, Tom, or anything else you'd like to add?
I mean, I think that's right. You know, we're a community-based business, and I think most of the chamber members are, and most businesses, really small businesses, are community-based businesses. So you really need to be connected within the community. You really need to be out there and telling that story. I mean, really, that you know, making those connections. That's going to help you, and you'll find ways to you never even thought of, ways to you know, improve, right? Because that's what we're all trying to do. We're all trying to get better, better at you know, being better people, being better leaders, you know, providing better services. You know, I don't think anyone wakes up today and says, let me figure out how I'm going to fail today. We all wake up and we want to go get it, and we want to, you know, have a great day, and we want to have a positive impact on somebody's life. And you know, I honestly believe that.
That is wonderful. Once again, and I'd like to pass on to Bonnie. Bonnie, is there any insight from the day that you would like to add on, or you'd like to share that you got from today?
Thanks, Christian. A couple of prevailing thoughts here, I think, that have just run through everything we've talked about. The fear factor. Everybody has it. We all have things that we are uncomfortable with. But the other one is service. Tom, you used the word a couple of times, but I think it's an even bigger factor in our conversation today than just a couple of mentions. I know you, Tom, to be a leader, but I also know you to have a servant heart. You are somebody who likes to give back, who likes to be a problem solver, who likes to identify issues and guide people towards solutions. So the service piece, I was struck by the thought that it's not just what you've done in the community with the veterans and the Rotary and other groups. It's what you do in your business every day. You provide a service. And there are lots and lots of service type businesses in the chamber. Everybody on this call provides a service to their customers. Ashley, you help people solve their home buying needs by providing the service of your licensure as a realtor. And Georgianne, you're providing an incredible service with the wealth consulting that you do, and the kinds of services, the kinds of help that you provide in your business. And Kristen, of course, you do, not just in your what I call a side hustle, but in the divinity business and marketing that you do. You're providing a service through that. And then it's your own job that you do, you know, your quote real job. You're providing a service to your coworkers so that people can travel safely along the transportation lines that we have here. So I think service has to be something that we all keep top of mind, and whatever principles we're following and making that happen will define how successful we are. But certainly the chamber is a service. We provide services to businesses of all size, not just small businesses like we those of you who are on this call here, but also the bigger businesses, the hospital and the just all the big companies, Cheney and the Wills Group and all the others. And that's the beauty of a chamber, because together we do what no one business could do on their own. So that's a service too. That's just the word that really came to my mind. As far as Dr. Covey and his book, 7 Habits, Christian shared with me yesterday that he actually has his children reading that. There's a child's version of that book called, what's it called? The Leader in Me, I think is what it's called. The book. And what a great foundation you're setting for your children to be able to be good community leaders through the service that they will become accustomed to providing through the tools that you're giving them now. So this has been a great conversation. I've really enjoyed learning about each of you and hearing how you put these practices of servitude into play in what you're doing every day.
And I would add, what some people call one of the greatest teachers of all time, he quoted saying some people call it the good book or the Bible, where he says, the greatest of all is the least of all. And as you go read that in the context, he was talking about service, basically, being willing to be the servant, being willing. And I definitely have seen through my years in business and dealing with business owners that some of the most successful business owners and those in business, regardless of what they're doing, whether they're, I know we got different forms of business, from traditional to entrepreneur to entrepreneurships and franchisee owners, and that doesn't matter. That the most successful ones have that servitude heart. They are willing to serve. They're willing to give back. They're willing to help others. Yes, we're all in business. We all have that. What's in it for me, and who does it? That if you don't have that, then you shouldn't be in business. But the number one thing after that you should have is, hey, how can I give back? How can I serve? And that's how I've learned to even approach clients or future clients. What can I do for them today? That even if the deal doesn't get closed today, that when they're ready to do business or they need something, I'm one of the first ones on their minds that they'll pick up the phone and call or shoot an email to. So definitely that servitude aspect in business is probably I would say for some is a lost art, because we all in our different types of businesses, and we have come across some people in your life you could just tell off the break, or you're selfish, you're not going to last long, and you want to tell them, but you just can't tell them and embarrass them. But you can look and say, if you don't change to get a servitude heart, you're not going to be around too much longer. So we're up against it. We just have a couple of minutes left here. So I would be to me be disrespectful if I don't give Tom to the floor, and he has a couple of closing remarks here. Feel free, sir.
Well, again, I really appreciate this opportunity, and I appreciate the chamber and all that it's done for me. It has really enabled me to serve, enabled me to give back to the community. It's a partnership, chamber membership. You give what you get, so you do have to invest in it, but it's probably an investment that has paid off, personally and professionally, and really helped my business grow. So I really, really am appreciative of what the chamber and the community have done for me in helping me grow and grow our business. Ashley, Georgianne, I really appreciate you participating in the questions that you asked and the comments that you made. Thank you.
And if I could jump in, Christian, I would just like, I would just like to say,
go ahead, Bob.
Thank you. I'd like to say to Ashley and Georgianne, if you feel that you've got one little piece of information that you can use today, if there's one little thing that you'll take with you, I hope that you'll share that with somebody else. And I also hope that you'll come back on the third Tuesday in November. I don't have that date in front of me. I think it might be the 16th, the 17th.
Yes, ma'am. 16. 16. Yes, ma'am. Uh-huh.
I hope that you will bring one friend with you and tell them what you got out of it and help them. I'm not sure yet who our guest will be. Christian hasn't revealed that yet, but whoever it will be, I'm sure it will be a conversation worth having. This is unlike anything else we do in the chamber. At this time, especially when we're not able to do our networking events, our big gala type events, our signature events. This is what people are turning to instead. More intimate conversations, more opportunities to enter into two-way dialogue. And we would appreciate if you would help us grow this program, because I personally think it has great value, and I think Christian's going to be providing quite a service to the chamber in doing this. So help us spread the word, if you will. Thanks for coming today.
Absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity.
All right. Well, on that note, I'd like to thank everyone. I'd like to give special thanks again to Tom for joining with us. I'd like to once again give special thanks to the chamber and to Bonnie for helping putting this together. And just appreciate each of you all taking your time out of your busy day to be here with us today. I hope everybody has a wonderful and productive day, and stay safe out here in the time that we're in right now. Hopefully we'll wake up one morning and these days will be over and we can get a little more face to face. But until then, let's all just continue being safe. And once again, I just like to thank you. If you'd like to reach Tom, of course, you can go to his website. Tom, can you give us your website real quick, please, so if people know how to find you or your contact information if they want to reach out to you and learn more about your business or how you can help them?
Certainly. Of course, you can always reach out to me through the chamber, through Bonnie. She can provide all of our contact information. It's also available in the chamber online directory. But our website's www.eTrepid.com. And our phone number is 240-455-0131. And of course, feel free to reach out to me at any time, really for any reason. I'm here.
All right. Well, that concludes this one more opportunity. Thank you all once again. And I hope everyone has a wonderful and productive day.
Thanks, Christian.
Thank you for joining.
Thanks, Ashley.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Christian. Tom, thank you so much.
Have a blessed day, everyone.
You as well. Thanks, Tom.
You as well. Thank you. Bye.